Hello and welcome to a special edition of Backstage with Boria with somebody who I've interviewed a million times now. But this is an important interview. Chirag Shetty, bronze medal winner at the recently concluded Thomas Cup. Since coming back, multiple tweets, multiple posts have gone viral. Some critical, some constructively critical, and we will dwell in detail about quite a few important factors that raise critical questions about Indian sport and Indian fandom. Chirag, firstly, very hearty congratulations on behalf of everybody in this country for the bronze medal winning performance. Your thoughts first on the performance before I delve on other factors.
Oh, well, yeah, firstly, thank you for having me. Sorry, I have a bad voice. I lost my voice
Thank
while
you so much.
cheering for the team. And yeah, I think the past 2 weeks have been really, really good. Yes, we would have wanted to go out there and uh, win it because we've already done that in the past. And when you've actually tasted victory on the biggest stage like the Thomas Cup, you just want to go out there and win it again because and anything less than that feels um, not you won't it won't make you as happy, but I think that's the standard we've set for ourselves um, as um, as athletes because um, if you see before us in the 75-year history, we didn't have a single medal. So for us, um, like if we probably 6 7 years back, if you had told us that um, we'll be getting two medals so far, I think we will take it any day. Doesn't matter which color of the what is the color of the medal because I still remember before going for the 2022 Thomas Cup. In my mind, I just wanted. I was having a conversation with Ashwini, and Ashwini said that oh, you guys have like we were just leaving for the Thomas Cup in 2 3 days, and we were having I think snacks after a session, and she said that oh, you know what, we've won two medals at the Uber Cup in a very joking way, but and I've in my mind I'm like shit, we've not won even a single medal until now, and in my mind I'm like no matter what, this time when we go for the Thomas Cup, we'll go all guns blazing, and whatever color medal we get, we'll take it happily. And but whatever energy, whatever uh, we are capable of, we'll just go out there and give it on court. And I think the, that's what we did, and eventually went on to win. And I think similar this time around as well. But obviously, since we've already won it before, our thing was to go out there and uh, win it, but unfortunately we couldn't. But I think that win against Chinese Taipei and was really really special, considering they were a much higher ranked team than us.
And Chirag, before I move on, just for the viewers, can you set the importance of the Thomas Cup in context, please? Because clearly, unfortunately, and this is an unfortunate ground reality in India, despite the 2022 win, if you ask an Indian fan, he will say Olympic Games, Asian Games, etc., etc. Can you just put it in context from the perspective of a star or a leading player like yourself? How important is the Thomas Cup for you?
I think of all the individual medals I've won so far, becoming world number one also, um, I think if not the happiest, I think it's definitely one of the happiest for sure. But if not the happiest, winning the Thomas Cup and I've never felt happier on a badminton court than the Thomas Cup. I think I would rate Thomas Cup and Asian Games at the as the most happiest I felt on a court so far. And for me, uh, that feeling of winning a Thomas Cup was very, very different. I think winning as a team, since predominantly badminton is an individual sport, so you don't get to play a lot of team events. But winning a Thomas Cup is, I think, I think all badminton players would say that uh, it comes right up there. It comes with the World Championships, the Olympics, and then probably the Thomas Cup. So I think,
Absolutely important that you put it in context. Now,
yeah.
coming to the semi-final, I read your comments, and Trust me, anybody who follows the sport would have said the same. For me, how can it be that there was no doubles in the first three? You were actually favoring a team in a way, given that they were playing three singles. But why should India suffer, or for that matter, any team suffer? Because clearly, the moment you did that, had it been 2-all, going into the final singles, the momentum is different, everything is different. Uh, that pattern, and without Laksha, automatically the thing got very heavily weighed towards France. Your thoughts on that?
Definitely, I think before this, I don't think BWF would have ever imagined that like a strong badminton nation would have their singles players playing doubles as well. So such a thing has never happened in the past. So so I think uh, so I think even it was a very unprecedented situation. Never happened in the past. So I think they need to really relook into the rules of this team event like the Thomas Cup, because I think there should be at least one men's doubles match in the first three ties, because a team like France, which dwelled heavily on their men's singles to perform, to um, it sort of is better for them, because every other team, for example, it can be Malaysia, Indonesia, um, Japan, um, Korea, or all the best badminton playing nations have a um, pretty much balanced team. There might be a pair or two from which would be not as good, but singles and doubles wouldn't be as different. Whereas in France, it's like the singles performs like really, really well, and they don't really have any double space. So I think, as even for the fans who come to the stadiums, um, they are robbed of a doubles match if it goes into it finishes in three games, because all the first three singles play and there's no doubles match that has happened, which happened actually because in the quarterfinals as well,
Correct. Correct.
France beat Japan three
Japan.
zero,
Yeah.
and Japan had really strong doubles pace. And a lot of people might say that, but you lost 3-0. Even if you would have won the doubles, you would have lost. It doesn't work that way, because uh, when Lakshya won his first singles in our Chinese Taipei tie, it changed the momentum in our favor. So when we went on the court, we knew that we are already 1-0 up. So mentally, not as uh, we are not as much under pressure as we would be if we are 0 and down, because it becomes a do or die for us. So um, the argument saying that you lost 3-0, it doesn't really matter. But when it becomes 2-all, the it becomes evenly poised. Even the best of the best players in the world, you saw with Indonesia losing to France 4-1. Nobody really expected that, because um, the pair that the French beat were top 10, top 8 pair, or top 8 pair, and in a normal tournament they would never lose to them. But the pressure that the Indonesians were under, that made them crack. And so I would say that the pressure and of a team event like the Thomas Cup is very, very different, because you're not just playing for yourself, you're playing for the country and also for your team who are cheering for you. So it's a very, the pressure that you have, and the matches can change really quickly. So yeah.
I'm glad you put this in context, because this was exactly my thought. My thought was, if whoever Laksha or Ayush, whatever happened, if this match was the second match, and if you and Satwik had closed it out, and then even in the second doubles we had a chance against the French,
Mm.
because they're not
Yeah.
that great. So Arjun,
Mm.
and if that match would have gone in our favor, that final singles could have been anything. And with Pranoy's experience, I think he would have pushed it, because two
Yeah.
zero down going into the third one is a very different thing against TJ, rather than playing the fifth match under pressure. The Indians also shouting two. Also, I'm glad that you
Exactly.
put it in context. Now, this question that you kind of mentioned, right? When you came back, no fans. I have a different perspective. I will tell you that you and I have a very good relationship for me to voice that concern as well. But first, your thoughts. I mean, how depressing or how disappointing is it that you say, for example, if this was an Olympic thing, thousands would be there. If this was a cricket competition, thousands would be there. Now, in this case, no fans. So how disappointing or frustrating was that?
See, when we said that, we didn't expect anybody to come for the bronze medal. Like even in the best case scenario, we never expected anybody to come. What Satvik voiced was, I think, that uh, nobody really knows about the sport. I think the magnitude of the sport. I think people think that winning the Thomas Cup is like just like winning any other tournament, a random tournament. They don't really see the magnitude of the result. And I saw a lot of tweets, a lot of chatter on Twitter saying that you need to win big events for you to say such something like this or demand something like this. But we've already won it in 2022. We don't
Yes,
really.
yes.
Cricket won their first World Cup in 1983, and they didn't win it until 2007. So it doesn't say that. So for 20 or 30 odd years, it's not that they didn't get any recognition or they didn't get any uh, p- like they didn't get any medals or anything. It's like saying if you don't win something, you don't get anything. But it's a very stupid argument because like I gave the example of cricket after 1983, they won several tournaments, and it's like saying ki if you don't win this, then you won't be recognized by anybody. So it was a very stupid argument that was happening on Twitter, which I felt like commenting, but I was like, it's like I'm commenting on something which because people they don't really follow the sport for them to comment. They just want to voice out their opinion without having any knowledge of the sport. So for me to comment, I felt like it was a bit odd. And yeah, to answer your question, I think our main concern was when we won the 22 Thomas Cup, the reception that we should have got, we didn't. And the way the sport um, should have blossomed, I think that didn't really happen because I think in my opinion, Thomas Cup is the 1983 moment for Indian badminton. What a 1983 did for cricket, I think I feel uh, Thomas Cup should have done for Indian sport, for Indian badminton, but it didn't happen because, and India is not a sporting nation. Let me be very honest. Um, it's not like we are winning hundreds of medals like China uh, or the USA or anything. So for us to actually promote sport, we need to celebrate the wins that we have. It's
Agree?
not like we have hundreds of 200s of wins. Then it will become an everyday thing. But we don't have that. And for us to not celebrate such moments, I think it felt really really bad because Thomas Cup was the 22 win especially was very very big, but nobody really talked about it. So it actually makes me feel bad because I think the amount of effort that went into that win uh, was and beating. It's like um, it's like India. To put it into perspective, I think it's like um, a Bangladesh going on to win the World Cup, a cricket World Cup. People see that our ranking, like we won it before, but our ranking is eighth in the world in according to team rankings. And when we won it back in 22, even then we were seventh, sixth or seventh. So to put it into perspective, it's like a Bangladesh going on to win the cricket World Cup because uh, I think we hadn't even played a semi-final before that. We had never medaled at the Thomas Cup. So for us to go out there and win a title was simply incredible.
Let me say this, Chirag. I mean, you know, my quest for the last several years has been to give the sport and you guys your due. That is why I created Revsportz.
Mm.
The reason I
Yeah.
left my previous, assignments with media houses is because of this. I wanted multi-sport in India to develop, and you know, how
mm,
much effort has gone into doing Revsportz, and this is precisely why.
yeah,
While at one level it is deeply frustrating and irritating and disappointing, at another level, I think we have been able to do some work to try and remedy this or try and redeem this. And you again know that after every match I was messaging you that we must
yeah,
celebrate. So exactly
mm,
what you were
yeah,
saying. I was in touch with Arjun, who went
mm,
and took that video, I think, from all of you
yeah,
after that
yeah,
win against Chinese Taipei.
yeah,
How disappointing is this, Chirag? Because, and I have said this in my column today. I did a column for Money Control, and I've said Chirag Shetty and Satvik Sairaj Rankireddy are Virat Kohli and Rohit Sharma. So if you understand what I'm saying, they need to be celebrated like that. But unfortunately, in India, we don't do that. That's what I have written today in one of my columns. Do you feel a sense of disappointment and frustration at this kind of lopsidedness in Indian sport?
yeah. I think, but like like I've always been someone who felt like if I deserve the recognition, I'm I shouldn't demand it. I I work for it, and people should come and recognize me for my effort, and I shouldn't go out and say that, you know what. But ha having seen this, having been in the sport for so long, and I think it feels really sad that now we have to voice, because we've done that in the past. Like I said, 2022 we never spoke about it, that how we were received or anything. And now suddenly we feel like if we don't voice it, then it will never happen. And it's not just for us. I think it's for the future generations. I think it's
Correct?
for uh, uh, not just badminton. I think sports in general in India. I think stories need to be celebrated, and for it to be celebrated, it doesn't have to be that everybody has to go and to win the Olympic medal or anything. It just have to. I think we need to make a sporting, like the sporting culture needs to develop, which I feel is very much there in USA or Australia for that matter. Like I think when that happens, then automatically you'll see more and more medals, and you don't want to, and people when they want their kids to pick up sport, there shouldn't be a question why. Because in India, it that is what, like when my parents wanted me to join sport, they were obviously very supportive. But uh, if I when I went to school or anything, people would think that क्यों कर रहा है इतना, मतलब why is, and they used to wonder that is it really, can you actually make a career out of it? This thing would never be asked elsewhere in a country like USA or Australia for that matter. So I think uh, that is what we really need to change. And I think if we don't really voice our opinion, I think then things will remain the way it is.
Chirag, I will ask you one critical question because, again, this is something I've written. While I understand, and by the way, it is not your job as a player to do it, cricket has packaged and marketed itself genuinely well. Now, after the Chinese Taipei, I mean, chalo, after Chinese Taipei, next day was the France semi-final, I understand. But there should be a media manager with the team. It is the
Mm,
job of the media manager to get bites and disseminate to the media like us. In
mm,
my case, I will send maximum people to tours, to Super Series events, to Asian Games, to multidiscipline events, and you know that my
mm,
my my reporters are almost everywhere. And I
mm,
should have sent somebody to Thomas Cup. The war and everything kind of impinges on this, but there should be a media manager. After the France semi-final, there should have been an effort to get at least you and Laksh or Ayush or whoever in front of the media next day for a roundtable. Not 3 days
mm,
later. Not 3 days
mm,
later. There should have been an effort on the part of people, your managers, Tuhin, Baseline, PR teams, whoever, to announce that the team is coming on so and so date. There
mm,
should be some social media. There should be marketing and packaging of the sport. This is not the job of the player.
mm,
But there is media like us. There are
mm,
people who want to push the sport. I
mm,
think that is also lacking, Chirag.
mm,
And that's what is kind of frustrating at your end. and
mm,
frustrating at my end. I am
mm.
not wanting to be critical or controversial here, but I
Mm.
think a synergistic effort needs to be made to package and market the sport better. Your thoughts?
Mm. Yeah, I think the sport really needs to be marketed better. I feel we have uh, the performances. I think uh, we've had Olympic medals. We've had the Thomas Cups. I think there's no event that Indian badminton has not won at. So I think what really needs to, I think what you pointed out was quite good. I think cricket has been marketed really well. I think, and I think I'll always see what the USA does with its sports. I think it's not just NBA or NFL or any other sport for that matter, but even the general sports like gymnastics. Gymnastics is not a very mainstream sort of a sport. It's not a team game, but I was watching a documentary, and the way they promote a sport like gymnastics is really, really good. I think in India, I've never seen a sport being celebrated apart from cricket being promoted that way. Uh, so yeah, I think it's getting better, but I think there is still a lot of work to do.
100%. And as I
Mm,
said, I can list five straight things. A media
mm,
manager needed to be traveling with the team. Number one,
mm,
the players should have been requested to do a media roundtable soon after the bronze medal win, after your
mm,
celebrations. What the mood is, not 3 days later when the
mm,
election results were out. It was a bad day.
mm,
Number three, bites, at least bites and quotes
mm,
from the mixed zone should have been disseminated far better. So I think the sport can be and should be
mm,
marketed way more than it is done. Because my point is
mm,
very clear. Chirag Shetty and Satvik Sairaj Rankireddy, for that matter, or Laksh or Ayush's Badminton Asia Championship result, Laksh's some of his results. These are as good as an Asia Cup win.
yeah, I
Imagine
think.
what happened after the Asia Cup. But Badminton Asia Championship, same. This guy came runner up, beating three top 10 players. What did we do? I did one interview with Ayush after
Mm,
pushing, 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 pushing. Can we please do? Can we please do? This is
mm.
not how it should be packaged and marketed. Final question. Asian Games, Chirag, you are defending champions. Tough, very tough. The Chinese pair, the Korean pair, Indonesians, bloody tough. The Malaysians. How are you looking at it? Because that's one sport, or rather one multi-discipline games India will consume. In Japan, all of us will be there to support you. But how are you looking at the Asian Games?
Yeah, I think it's definitely a big ticket event for this year. The World Championships as well, a month before that. And as you said, I think we are the defending champions, but I don't want to really put too much pressure on ourselves thinking about that, because I think the last time when we went there, I think we mm, enjoyed ourselves to the fullest on the court and off it as well. And the results just uh, the result just happened. I think we were very, very positive. I think although things weren't the best at that time, I was ill, and going into the Asian Games, we weren't playing at our best, but we had a sort of a very positive environment that we had created. Ki no matter what, we just go out there and give our best, and I think that really worked well for us. And I think this time around too, I would uh, want to do that. I think what is in my hand is to give my best on court, and I'll go out there and give my best. And I think if we are able to play anywhere close to our best, and then I think we can go very deep into the tournament.
I'll end there, Chirag Shetty,
Yeah,
with the assurance and the promise and the commitment that we
yeah,
will support you
yeah.
way more than what we have done. You know the commitment, and for us, multi-sport, including badminton, is the way forward for Indian sport going forward. At
Mm,
least on behalf of Revsportz, I will ensure that
mm.
almost every event is covered from on ground, and we are there to back you in good and bad, not depending on the medal. That's the
Mm.
most important thing. Whether it is a first round loss or whether it is a gold medal win, our support will be there, because we, as a synergy, the players and the media,
Mm.
together can take the sport forward. Thank you very much for
Mm.
your time. I
Thank
appreciate
you.
you joining me, because this was an interview I wanted to do. Thank you for
Yeah,
your time.
thank you. Thank you so much.